So, thanks to David and Jerry supporting me, and that's how, in fact, he is supporting all of us. You guys also.
Thank you, David.
That is very important.
It's our pleasure.
So we have been continuing this journey. So because then I can keep my expectations killed. So that is the way, that is the real essence of being a monk. So monk is totally focused on the journey to pass on the knowledge. So from there the concept of charity has come. Lot of things, leave that aside. So what we were doing, we started with Om meditation. So Om is the designator of real self. And the real self is self-existent, self-evident reality. Self-existent and self-evident reality means it is independent of anything and everything in the world. You see that the moment the real self depends on anything, it becomes a relative reality. So what we are looking in meditation, the absolute reality. And what is that absolute reality? It is permanent peace. It is happiness. It is love. It is wisdom. It cannot be taken away. It is my nature. It is our nature. So that is the goal of all meditation, any meditation practices. So we started, Patanjali says, you see that you have to practice Om meditation with a meaning. This is the meaning that I explained. But what happened? I have lot of past impressions. I have a typical attitude. I have a reacting and blame attitude. So the students blame the teacher, blame the practice. Why? That blame is present inside the head. Because I have been blaming and complaining and reacting to others. So it will apply to the teacher and the practice also. Not a big deal. Do you see that? Not a big deal. So Patanjali says that you have to focus on the meaning so that our attitude changes, our mind, the impressions that we have accumulated undergoes a changes. So that Patanjali is explaining by Om meditation, you can remove all the obstacles on the path, all the barriers from the path. Why should I be responsible for anything that you do and you experience? You are responsible. You are responsible. But our mind continues. That is the way we live in the world. Little thing happened, get lost. Come on. Tell your mind you get lost. We have to change our mind. That is the journey of yoga. But we forget it. Why we forget? Because of lot of impressions. First thing. Because they pose an obstacle. I have already detailed those obstacles. Then Master says, okay, I have been saying you, Patanjali, our masters have been so kind. Then they focus because your impressions, means accumulated impressions, my reactive, blame, complaint, attitude, constantly manifest in my personal, professional, social life. So the Patanjali, look at the Patanjali, the way he explains. He says, okay, why don't you change your attitude? Remain cheerful with 4 attitude of friendliness, compassion, joy, and equanimity in the mind. Because I accumulate impression when I meet people. Because then my self-interest and my duality and a conflict enters into the mind. So Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upekshanam means I have to cultivate an attitude of friendliness to those people who meet me with a happiness, compassion with those people who are suffering, and joy with those people who are, you can say, who are virtuous, or who are kind, who are noble, like you guys. So, and the fourth one, equanimity. The attitude of equanimity with those people who are punya apunya. Whom we say, oh, this guy, this politician is bad. No, hold on. This is none of my business. None of my business. Tell your mind, this is none of my business. You vote anyone, but that is none of my business. Why? To keep my mind clean. To live into the state of cheerfulness. Now see, it is a mental phenomena. But not many people succeed in this journey because they have a very deep impression in the mind. Say, you have cultivated an attitude of hatred against a person. And that impression continues to trigger. So it demands a lot of awareness and attention during the day, meeting with the people, building the relationship. So Patanjali says, okay, you cannot do it. So Patanjali has come to the practice of so-called pranayama. It is not, you may say it is pranayama. I will deal next week in 2 sessions what Patanjali is saying. In these sessions I am preparing you to understand what Patanjali has been saying. So he says, Prachadharana Vidharana Bhyam. He uses only 2 words. So what he is saying, that by these so-called breathing practices, we can I use the word, we can keep in abeyance all the past impressions for a temporary period. Now the mind is ready to go within. So one, it has already gone within, you bypass all the past previous impressions, you enter into a higher state of meditation. If you say meditation is a state of being, meditation succeeds when you live, think and speak 24/7 in meditative state. Now compare this step. Will you be doing breathing practices 24/7? Not possible. So this is a tool. This is a device by which we remove the past impressions, accumulated impressions. It helps us to raise awareness. It helps us to focus the mind. It helps us to purify our mind. That is the objective. But next week you'll be surprised. I talked about hopping and other aspects. So we will go a little deeper into that. So we already understood that this prana, don't think that I am breathing, so I have a prana. So that prana is present where there is a change, where there is a movement. You see, fingers are moving, lips are moving, thinking. So that prana goes into the mind, becomes a mental energy, and because of the mental energy, I am able to speak to you. And it is same, because of the mental energy, you are able to hear me. Prano virat prano destri pranam sarvivasati. Prano surya chandrama pranama. Prana. That prana is the protector. That prana is the nourishment. That prana is the life force. That is how this prana is praised by our masters to make us understand that don't think that prana is only present in the living being. Where there is a change, there is prana. Body changes, in every cell of the body, prana is there. In the mind, prana is there. In the emotion, prana is there. In reaction, prana is there. In anger, prana is there. In love, prana is there. In hate, prana is there. So, pay attention. So, what is that? That is by which the living force is alive is known as prana, the first unit of energy. Now go little deeper with the reference of the prana. There is a real self. For the sake of understanding, the prana is born of the real self. As shadow in the man, so is this in the real self. The prana is like a shadow of the real self. Because of the action of the mind, this prana enters into the body. We are going to a deeper understanding. By the action of the steering, or by the action of the driver, that fuel is burnt to be used for a movement of a car. Did you get it? So by the action of the mind, this prana enters into every cell of the body. Now, one another understanding. This energy, it is energy. Energy is all pervading. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. We already know from physics. The same thing with the prana. So when I die, the prana does not die. That needs also to be understood. Prana remains equal, universal. Now, go a little further. What it has to do with the mind? I am reacting, I have a hatred, I am in anxiety. What it has to do with the prana? Because it lives in these anxiety, hatred, and these attitude lives in the mind. So let us go for another understanding. Take this spine from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Prana flows continuously, and that flow of the energy then distributed to every cell of the body. Just and for the sake of understanding, it is now if the prana is pointing downward, moving downward, then what happens? You have distraction, you have anxiety, you have duality, you have conflict, you have problems. You say, I am done with, I am frustrated. And if the prana is moving upward, then it continues to help you raise your consciousness. You start moving into the higher and higher consciousness. Higher consciousness means peace and happiness, love and wisdom. Car cannot move by itself, so the prana cannot move by itself. So it means what? Mind. Mind has to move the prana. This teacher is crazy. You are listening to the teacher and the mind is saying, this teacher is crazy. Your prana is moving down. You are harming yourself. It has nothing to do with me. So, 100%. I am 100% clear about it. Do you see that? So it means the mind moves the prana, changes the direction, and the mind moves the prana either downward or upward. So I should have a right knowledge. Oh, teach me whatever you want to teach me. I am fed up with you. So your prana is already moving down. You are responsible for your success and failure. Understand this. Understand. Now what happens? Oh, honey, okay, let me sit and talk to you. You are already moving your prana downward. How there can be a peace and happiness? Do understand how you relate these to day-to-day living. Are you getting it? So refrain from any thought that pulls the prana downward. For what sake? For your own sake. Not for the sake of others. The entire journey is to discover the real self. So now today's main thing comes. What is that main thing? Understand that clearly and think it over. Again and again. The moment you have anxiety, duality, conflict, reaction, blame, lack of awareness, it is the impurity of prana in the mind. Did you understand? If you have a impure, contaminated fuel in the car, you cannot drive properly. Yeah. You cannot drive. Engine may get a failure. Lot of problems comes. So now what our great master who lived until 1950, Sri Aurobindo, he uses a beautiful phrase. Now understand, desire is the impurity of prana in the mind. Desire is the impurity of prana in the mind. That is why pranayama, to purify the mind. So by the breathing practices, we not only purify the mind, but we also focus the mind. Got it? Clear? Understood? So refrain from getting upset. The moment you are upset, prana, I want to lift you up. Let me think good for everyone. Let me think good for everyone. Not that I want to be monk, but for my own sake. Are you getting it? So that, such a deeper understanding. Now see that before Patanjali in the previous sutra says friendliness. No, I don't want to think a lot about this. He is definitely a crazy guy, so I don't want to talk to him. Because I cannot become aware. I do not want to understand. So when I do not have an understanding, Patanjali says, come on, use the breathing. Use the breathing. But use the breathing for a temporary period. You cannot do the breathing 24/7 until we live. So I'm repeating it again. Desire is the impurity of prana in the mind. So when I change the rate and the rhythm of the breath, it triggers the mind. Now I'm not going into, John will explain you physiological. I will also explain about that later. Our focus is to remove the distraction, remain cheerful, so that I can succeed in meditation. Our focus in yoga is not to increase the oxygen concentration. Science talks of relativity, because even Jerry knows, even if you increase the oxygen concentration beyond a limit, we will die. Oxygen becomes a poison. So the carbon dioxide. So we are not going there. We are not talking of that. We are understanding that how to achieve success in meditation. So when I say desire is the impurity of prana in the mind, it means what? You have 1 million desire. It is every cell of your body is impure. How do you know? Self-centered, totally self-centered, looking for how to extract everything. The world is a utility for me. And you have seen a lot of people in your life. So desire is the impurity of the prana in the mind. All craving, etc., enters into it. Got it. Another last point is also very important, that it demands a tremendous commitment and sincerity to continue the practice. The Hatha Yoga master says you have to practice 1 hour in the morning, only pranayama, 1 hour in the afternoon, 1 hour in the evening, 1 hour in the midnight, continuously for 6 months. So here the Patanjali says understanding 80% and 20% of the practice will do. So what we are going to do, we will combine the last 2 practices that we have done. We will do the chest breathing, means consciously I have to link my mind with the movement of the rib cage and the breath. Second breathing, belly breathing. So I must maintain my awareness and focus inside the belly button, and when I breathe in, the belly expands. When I breathe out, the belly contracts. That simply means think of the belly like a balloon. You inflate it, you deflate it. So means the mind is totally focused in that reason. Third is both together. Long, deep in the hissing breath that we did it. Focus inside the forehead. For the chest, focus inside the heart. For the belly, focus inside the belly button. What did we say? We understand? Where the mind goes, there the prana goes. So my mind is focused on the knowledge part at this, so there the prana gives me a tremendous energy and enthusiasm to express the concept. Just see, it happens every time. Some of you may not be paying attention. Crazy guy, when you are going to start the practice, enough is enough. So you see that your mind is already distracted. That is why we say, be a seeker. So when you are seeker, then it doesn't happen. So that is the first stage. And then we will notice the changes in our sensation and experiences, the three kinds of the breath. In the stage 2, we will do the same. We will close the right nostril, we will inhale deep, long and the fast with my left nostril, then close it. I normally use my only right hand. I place it middle two fingers on the left nostril and thumb. So I gently press the thumb and I release the two. So I'm breathing through the left nostril. Then gently close the left and start breathing through the right. So, and then fill both the nostrils. So that is what we have done in two practices. And after that, we will check the flow of the nostrils is equal in both the nostrils. That is an indication that now the mind is flowing into the spine or the prana or into the middle channel, or it is balanced. There are a lot of expressions. In Kundalini, we have another expression. In Raja Yoga, we have another expression, but it is the same thing. So once you notice that flow of the nostril is equal, then what we will do, then Om Shanti. We already know Om is the real self, Shanti is the expression. First we will do it with the deep breathing, and after that we will do it with a normal breathing. So let us start our journey. Eyes are closed. You are looking at the body. Body is steady. There is a precondition of doing any practice of breathing. There are many preconditions. So one practice I'm using, that the body is comfortable, it is steady, the mind is looking deep inside. The head at this moment means you are aware. Your goal is to move the mind within and to remove the veil of ignorance that I just explained. So in that state, now focus deep inside the rib cage. The center of the rib cage is the heart of yoga. The heart of yoga is not the physical heart that pumps the blood. It is the seat of the consciousness. Become aware of the space inside the heart without inviting any thought. Quick, short, and the fast breath from the rib cage starts now. Playful breath. Remember, you are not forcing yourself to become tense. Then what is the fun of doing meditation? Normally we say, I have achieved a great feat. It's not an athletic or Olympic championship. It is for your own sake. I use these phrases in the words to make your mind understand. Sometimes we do not understand. Good. One person has realized he was moving his whole body. That's good. Continue. Playful, still quick, still short breath. You are still breathing from the rib cage, but the focus remains deep inside the heart. and stop it. Do nothing. Moving the mind from the top of the head outside on the body. Experience the changes, recognize the experiences and accept it. Why I use the word accept? Because the mind suddenly goes into a new experience. So if your mind is not aware, that mind will start relating these experiences with blame and reaction, may compare it with some problems that you had in the past, and that will destroy totally the practice. Again, with a disclaimer, look inside the belly button in the space and start breathing long and the fast breath from the belly. The belly expands and contracts. The belly expands and contracts. The mind will say, I cannot do it. Which mind says? That is dictated by the past impression. If the tiger is chasing you, can't you breathe faster? Don't you run faster? Change your mindset. So we say, no, let us do it for 30 seconds. It will happen. Nothing happens for 30 seconds. We need to give some time. We need to focus. Again, pay attention only the movement of the belly, not the whole body. That demands your awareness and attention. Continue, my friends. Continue. 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 Long and fast breath into the belly and out of the belly, inflating and deflating the belly like a balloon. And stop it. Do nothing. Recognize the changes, the sensation of tingling, of numbness, of blankness. A sudden experience of the blankness sometimes is equated with the fainting, dizziness. So that is why I have been saying recognize and accept those changes. And you might have noticed that you did it for a couple of seconds and after then the mind changes its rate and the rhythm. Why? Because of the past impressions that you have. So you have to maintain the same rate and the rhythm. Lot of things to be understood. And that is why that practice gives us a deeper insight into what is Kundalini and the Tantra meditation practices are. Patanjali has covered them all. And now looking inside the forehead in the space. Looking into the space, you are aware. And just imagine first, visualize you are doing deep, long, hissing breath both from the belly and the ribs. Visualize your belly and the chest expands during inhalation and belly and the chest compresses, contracted during exhalation. Visualize it. Allow the mind to put its 100%. Then the practice becomes easy. And now start breathing long, deep in the hissing breath, both from the belly and the rib cage, keeping your focus inside the forehead. Continue. Long, deep in the hissing breath. You are aware of what you are doing, so there is no danger. You lose your awareness, everything returns. So when you are aware, you don't allow any negative thought pattern into your mind. And that helps you to progress on the journey. Long, deep, and the hissing breath. Continue, my friend. The mind will say, slow down. Don't listen to your mind. I am your mind now, until the practice ends. Same breath rate, same speed. Continue with the same energy and sincerity and commitment. The mind says, you see that, this is what is happening to you. Why don't you stop? Then you are listening to the mind. Simple way to understand. If you put your 100% of the mind and then you act on it, the result definitely will be there. Yes, sometimes you have tears, sometimes the old impressions are released. Be with me, please, listen to me. Sometimes you have lot of crying. It is okay, my friends. I am with you. Need not to worry and stop this. Just start recognizes the changes in the body, the head and the neck all around. And pick up the sensation, relaxation and stillness with the cheerfulness in the mind. We have only done hardly 1 or 2 minutes. Did I talk about 9 minutes? What will happen? But I like to do 9 minutes only when I am physically present with you, to take care of you if those impressions are released and causes some reaction. So look at the entire body from the top of the head to the toes and experience sensation, relaxation and stillness. All your tears, they are just a release. If you are still listening to me and you are committed to the practice. So now in the stage 2, we will go for alternate breathing. Means that we will do the left breathing first, then we will do right breathing, then we will breathe through both the nostrils as we did in the last step. So that gives you a new perspective because the mind moves deeper within. And when it moves deeper within, we will take it to the meditation. So let us, with the right hand thumb, close your right nostril. Check now fairly. Your head and the neck is fairly in one line and straight, not overstretched. And start breathing long, deep in the hissing from the left nostril. Focus remains inside the forehead. Focus remains inside the forehead. If the mind picks up any thought of anxiety, then its focus shifts to any part of the body. So, but you are doing it consciously, so there is no danger. Continue. Continue doing it. Do not stop in the middle, my friends. Do not listen to your mind. You are listening to me. You are listening to me. Now close your left nostril and start with the right. Yes, even if you have crying spells and the tears, you continue doing it. Do not allow the mind to take over. Let the practice take over the mind to change. Let me see if you can do it. That is why in a deeper and a higher practices, I need a physical presence. But check that. You are intelligent, you are wise. I see two people. Just do it. Left nostril is closed in the right. You are doing it long, deep in the hissing breath. Just do it. Leave yes, my friend. You will overcome. Yes, you will overcome that. Yes, do it, and bring the hand down with both the nostrils together, long, deep in the hissing breath. If you start even for 30 seconds, the mind changes. It is release of the past impressions, and that takes the mind down. So that is why we need to continue. Understand? Yes, you got it. Continue. Allow and accept the changes that is coming. Good. With the cheerfulness of the mind that you are taking a bigger step. I see those changes even suddenly appears to those people whose past impression triggers the mind, and stop it. Do nothing. Move the mind from the top of the head to the toes. Experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Now understand what is my role as a teacher? Understand and listen, because if you submit to the past impressions, if you stop doing it, the mind says, I see, I have won. Nothing happens by the practice. Don't allow the mind to win over you. You see, it is the mind when the tiger is chasing you. It is the mind says, let me use all my will and the force to save myself. That attitude is required. So, we will follow the second round. Close your right nostril with the right hand thumb and start breathing long, deep in the hissing breath, both from the belly and the rib cage. Yes, got it. My friend, got it. I like it. Continue. Do not stop. That understanding is there. It will go away within few seconds if you continue to do it. If you stop, the mind will take over you. Continue, long, deep in the hissing breath. You need not, no one need to see others. You have to focus on yourself. You have to succeed. You cannot succeed comparing yourself with others. You see, that is why a constant vigilance of a teacher is required in these higher practices. And close your left nostril. Start with the right, long, deep in the hissing breath. No stopping. Even if the mind says cry, you say, let me do it and then I will cry. The mind says, I am upset. You do it and then we'll say, okay, I will check you later. Complete the practice. It will take you deeper. provided still we are having a virtual session. I have all the disclaimers. If you really do not want to do, you may stop it. But if you are a seeker, continue. And bring the hand down with both the nostrils together. Long, deep in the hissing breath. If you are doing it with awareness, I know the cheerfulness and the smile normally appears on the face. The mind finds it is so easy to be in peace and calmness. Why I was not doing it before? That comes. Continue long, deep in the hissing breath, both from the belly and the rib caves. After all, you all are seekers. And stop it. Look at the tip of the nose. Mind says, I don't want. Bring the mind back at the tip of the nose. Check both the flow of the nostrils are equal. And if they are equal, you have already reached. You help the mind to live within. The mind is already focused, even if you have couple of thoughts moving in and out. Now start breathing little deep, silent and slow. As you inhale, move the mind from the crown of the head to the tailbone, reciting mentally Om Shanti. Allow the peace to take over the reaction of the mind, the manifestation of the past impression. I believe you all are understanding that. You have been with me regularly for many, many weeks. So you know the principle. During exhalation, you move the mind. Mind rises from the tailbone to the crown of the head in the spine, singing Om Shanti. Yes, my friend, continue. Om Shanti. Can you smile on your mind that is making you crazy? I know you can. Make it. No more breathing. It's a deep, silent, slow breathing. The breathing Om Shanti. Om. What is Om? You already know it. Om is real self, pure consciousness, self-existent, self-evident, all-pervading. Shanti. Om expresses the Shanti, the peace. Om Shanti. We understand that even if the mind does not go deeper inside and succeed in meditation by cultivating the attitude, by the simple practice, by recitation, we have done Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. So then we come to these active practices. So mind neither wants to do the previous one nor it wants to follow the active step. We have to recognize this fact. And then we say, mind, I have to take over you, whatever it takes. What happens? That starts releasing your past impressions. Continue. Mentally recitation. with this deep, silent and slow breath. Om Shanti. Exhalation, mind rises. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. And now, while during inhalation you say Om Shanti, but the mind moves from the crown of the head to the belly button in the line of the spine, and as you exhale, the mind moves from the belly button to the spine. So here the very action part, the mind tries to take over you, that calms down, because the belly is the center of action. Symbolically we talk about it. So that helps a great deal in releasing and calming down the effects of the trigger of the past impression that is being released. That's good. Continue, my friends. Now lead the breath, deep, silent and slow breathing. Allow the breath to be normal, and the mind moves from the crown of the head to the heart inside. Om Shanti. From the heart when the breath comes out naturally. Om Shanti from the heart to the top of the head. Here you are not changing the rate and the rhythm of the breath. Why? We have to say goodbye to the breath to go deeper. And now, with a flick of a second, you drop Om Shanti inside the forehead, from the crown of the head to the forehead, from the forehead to the crown of the head, bypassing the breath, without the help of the breath. Means that gives a clue and understanding. The prana merges into the mind. And the moment the prana merges into mind, you are already there. Prana merges into the mind. What did I say? Desire is the impurity of prana in the mind. Then what? Mind reaches to its purest state. You may feel as if it is infinity. Infinite space all around. Thoughts are left behind, the body is left behind, the breath is left behind. A lot of experiences takes place. That Om Shanti. A flick. It is not that you need to verbalize Om Shanti completely, but you know a non-verbal recitation in the field of awareness. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand bring your mind on the left hand raise both your palms. Place it on your eyes. So when you place it completely on your eyes, there is a darkness, and you open your eyes into that darkness. Bring the hands down. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good. Got great meditation. Experience during the all the different types of breathing was a lot of head pressure and sinus pressure, and it was all focused right in the center of my head. And then every time we stopped, it was cold. And with each level of the breathing, so how many ever ones we did, I felt the coldness just moving through my body to where it first started up top, and then it encompassed my entire body. At the very end of the meditation, when we were going through the Om Shanti, all I could see is just white light moving through me, all the way up till the end. And when you started chanting Om Shanti, it was just focused, and I was just watching waves of white light.
Beautiful. We will talk in detail about these experiences in a future session. According to Sri Aurobindo, the great master, you may feel a fluid mass of peace, which is very core, starts descending from the top down. Fluid mass, you feel that. So initially it is experienced first as a peace, tremendous focus. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good. Thank you. I felt really focused during that practice, and it went by really fast.
Yeah.
And concentrated.
That is success. Obviously, it went fast. We spent the same amount of time. So mind was naturally focused inside. Beautiful. How are you, Jerry and David?
Very good practice. I observed initially some restriction in one of the nasals, but just kind of listened to you and just kept at it, and it just sort of opened up on its own. But very quickly into it, it just became this white room, or light room. Can't describe it as white, just light. And all I can remember is thoughts were out there trying to get in, and they couldn't get in.
They couldn't get in, yeah.
And then towards the end, it turned to an indigo color.
That's beautiful.
Somewhat.
Beautiful.
So it was very quiet, peaceful.
White light and indigo. That's really beautiful. We'll understand those changes in future. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good too. Went by fast. The breathing initially was a lot of vibration, energy, and then when we went to alternate nostril, I had a lot of light instantly. So it dark and light, and it was indigo, white, green, and then when you started doing the Om Shanti through crown to abdomen, crown to heart, crown, it just got white.
White, that's good. A lot of white, so that's really a good and a deeper experience. How are you, Daniel?
Good, I'm good, thank you. So it was very, very interesting experience. So I had the feeling that I'm very light because of this flow, and also a little bit of pressure, like air pressure. So I was thinking that I can also fly. But opposite, I was also very focused. It was very focused and quiet in some way because I was focused on breathing. I did no other thoughts. So it was kind of very quiet as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. But you have to be regular. I can say to him, I know Daniel, I don't take that liberty to others. He is very wise. How are you, Christina?
I'm okay. I think I would like to have I think I need to have a psoas muscle tension. I talked in my yoga training with John, brought it up with some past trauma release, and I think that's something that I really need to look into because this breath work, as you saw, was
I don't see you.
Hard for me. So
I don't see you. Yes,
yeah, I turned off my. I don't want to.
Okay. No problem. No problem.
I'm not okay. So, yeah, I gotta go. Sorry.
Let COVID go down, and then I will visit California.
Okay, I'll see you in Pasadena.
Yeah, see you in Pasadena. How are you, Barbara?
Well, when we first finished the first belly breathing, I felt a little bit dizzy.
Yeah.
That went away, but when you did the breathing from the heart to the crown of the head, I actually felt joy. It was beautiful.
That's beautiful. You see, that's really good. Yeah, go ahead.
I also felt the cold from the crown of my head to my spine, and I did see a beautiful blue in the end when you were saying Om Shanti. It was lovely. It was a wonderful experience.
That's a wonderful. We will understand that. But it is like I am repeating, fluid mass of peace you experience. Not only you experience in the practice, because now you are seeker, so I can speak of something, what are the higher experiences. Not to those people, who meet me for the first time. No, I don't normally speak. So I say it is a fake. But it is not fake, it is real. We'll understand that. Beautiful. How are you, Sangeeta?
सर बहुत पीसफुल है अब तो पहले सर जब फास्ट ब्रीथिंग कर रहे थे तो अपने आप आंसू भी आ रहे थे
yes
एकदम फिर बिल्कुल खाली हो गया सब
tears came into her eyes and then everything became empty. So that also happens. Think of it if we do it for 9 minutes each. But we need to reach to that state. We should be capable. We should be committed. We should not allow the mind to take over. We should take over. That is very important. How are you, John?
Thank you. I kind of had I have a deviated septum. I got from a fight that I got in one.
Yeah. I know the DNS. But if we do it for 9 minutes each time, that DNS has no impact.
Well, just what we did today, though, with your prompting about, work through the breathing, it kind of became apparent to me how much of a pattern I have.
Yeah. I could see, John, what you're saying. I could see. One of the best thing. No, first let me have Terry, and then Ashok, and then I'll talk to you. I'll talk about something, sesame seed oil or the mustard seed oil. But sesame seed oil is the best to sniff it almost 2 or 3, 4 times according to Ayurveda and yoga. So that helps. How are you? Ashok, tab tak tum bol do.
How's it bad today? Good.
Today is good.
Better.
You should do this practice regularly.
I will do it.
Once you return from workplace, do it. In the morning, do it.
Sure.
I remember a lot of things, but we'll talk later. Let us see. Terry. Yes, I'm waiting, Terry. No worries. In the meantime, we say if you keep you see that I take 2 or 3 times. I keep my sesame seed oil. So it removes the dryness and it helps you to do these breathing practices much better. So I just put it 2 or 3 drops. 2 or 3 times. Whenever I see it, I forgot. So let me put it. So it keeps lubricating. Yes, Terry.
Okay. Yes, I was able to do everything. That was good, and I think I was happy at the end because I went more up to the crown than I could before.
Good.
And yeah, I think it was waking up my right side, which is my more affected side. Because I got a terrible cramp in my foot. Because I think I woke up that part of the body so that...
Yes, that is what I wanted to say. With your problem, you are able to wake up that part of the body. That's quite interesting. So don't leave this practice. But there are other practices we will be doing which is going to help you. Any question? So, remember, it's better suggestion. It's not a sesame seed oil because there is also a teaching that we should put mustard seed oil, but mustard seed oil will irritate your olfactory nerves too much. It's like bitter and it's hot, but sesame seed oil is not hot. You just make it a habit. John, we both are in the same profession. You just make it a habit and see what happens after 3 months and 4 months. In fact, I also had the DNS long back, extreme DNS. DNS means deviated nose symptoms. So then you don't feel that from outside that your nose is deviated. It is from inside. But that is a wonderful remedy. So that is all we will do. We will meet again.